Assalamu
Salam.
alaikum. Welcome to Salam Academy Alumni Leadership Club interview series, I Am Possible. Here's our guest, Odey Yousef, and our host, Amr Kassem.
Assalamu alaikum, Odey. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for accepting our invite. We're honored to meet you and to learn about your success story. MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum, Mohammed. It's great to be here.
So for your first question, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your education, your career, your job, all that stuff?
Yeah, sure. My name's Odey Yousef. I was born and raised here in Albuquerque. My parents are Palestinian. I went to school at Salam Academy for most of my life. I was there for kindergarten, middle school, and after that, I went to high school at Ames, another school here in Albuquerque. From there, I went to UNM with the Woodward Scholarship and the Leonard Endowed Scholarship. I studied civil engineering and I received my bachelor's there the last fall semester in fall 2020. Right now, I am working on my master's degree, also at UNM, in structural engineering with a focus on structural health monitoring. Right now, I'm doing research specifically into that area with into specifically augmented reality and applications using machine learning and computer vision for structural health monitoring.
Yeah, so that's like cool stuff. So you said you're a civil engineer, and just can you tell us what you need to know about to get into like that profession?
Yeah, sure. So I'm specifically a civil engineer with a focus in structural engineering. Something that's you should really know about civil engineering is probably the most has a lot of variety, more so than any other engineering profession. I work in structures. You can work with transportation, water resources, environmental, geomechanics. Obviously, for any STEM field, you want to have really solid grasp of things like algebra, geometry, physics. So being able to excel those is obviously key. But beyond that, I would recommend aspiring civil engineers to learn, if you really want to, about the most cutting edge technologies in civil engineering, specifically computer aided drafting, where you can make blueprints and stuff like that on the computer. And you can just learn about lots of big civil projects. There's stuff going on all the time.
Got it. So I know that you attended STEM Academy from kindergarten to middle school. Do you have any good memories or good times that you had at STEM Academy?
Yeah, mainly the friends that I had along the way. I still talk to a lot of them to this day. I wasn't too much into extracurriculars, but I did have a lot of fun with the spelling bee. I went to regionals a couple times, and that was really exciting. I also, when I was in high school at Ames, we had required community service, and I chose to spend that at Salam Academy helping teachers and doing tutoring. I think that was helpful not only for my career. I actually was able to get a tutoring job at UNM later on because I had experience working at or helping at Salam Academy. I think it's really good to get insight into like how teachers work and how you can best help the community that you grew up around.
So we hear that students going to an Islamic school are, a lot of times isolated from society. Did you find the school was well integrated into the greater community beyond school?
I mean, personally, I can't comment too much about this. I was pretty antisocial. I didn't want to engage too much, but I think there were certainly a lot of opportunities to interact with not only other schools through things like extracurriculars, but there were also a lot of events. There would be speakers that would come in around, or maybe from different companies, and talk about what they do for students. You get a general feel about the outside community, society.
So do you think it's hard to be a practicing Muslim and a successful global citizen at the same time?
No, not really. I think probably the most really to be a successful global citizen, you just want to be informed about what's going on around the world, and being a practicing Muslim certainly doesn't hinder you from doing that. And as a matter of fact, I think it would probably not just require you, but encourage you to do so. So I try to keep up to date with what's going on around the world, and I think it certainly complements one another.
So, who is your favorite engineer from Muslim history and why?
So this one, there's a really famous structural engineer from the 20th century. He's referred to as, I think, the Einstein of structural mechanics. I think I forget his name. Fazlur Rahman Khan. He's a Bengali guy, and he's really famous. He designed the Sears Tower, which was the largest tower, the tallest tower in the world for a long time, and a couple of other ones. He's really famous for things like what's called, I think, tube theory, which is the idea of how you can design larger structures by modeling them as thin-walled tubes, and really helped push the field of making really big buildings. He's also really famous for, or really notable for being one of the early pioneers of using computers in structural analysis. And like I mentioned, computer-aided drafting nowadays, it's used everywhere. You're not really going to be doing anything by hand. So using computers for being able to do what's finite element methods for structural analysis and being able to design things completely digitally. He's one of those big guys that really pushed that. So I think he's a really famous guy.
Where do you hope to be in 10 years?
I mean, well, frankly, I couldn't tell you where I expect to be or where I want to be in 1 year. But I think, I think continuing my education, being in engineering requires you to really be up to date on continuing to learn about the most modern methods and techniques, especially with the amount of innovation going on. I'm somewhat engaged in the Muslim community, not as much as I used to be, so I would like to do more stuff around the mosque, community service, that kind of thing. Yeah, I couldn't give you much of an answer for that.
Got it. Okay, and for your last question, do you have any wishes or suggestions for students attending Salam Academy right now?
There's a couple. I think I mentioned this already, but really do as much as you can extracurricularly. You'll find something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing, and kind of pushes you to continue doing well in school. Beyond that, I would say that also you're really privileged, honestly, to be able to have a Muslim school here in the States, and there's a lot. You're able to learn more. Your Adabi is probably better. You're going to be more educated about Islam. You're going to be a better Muslim. And I think not taking that for granted and getting as much as you can out of that is really key.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Odey. May Allah increase you in beneficial knowledge and honor. And inshallah, may you be blessed with best in dunya and Jannatul Firdaus.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the beneficial knowledge, good provision, and acceptable deeds for both of you. May Allah bless you with the best in dunya and Jannatul Firdausul Ala. And for those who want to learn more about the school, please visit our website, www.salamacademy.org.